So thank you for being here and welcome to the 2012 State of the City Address. This is the second State of the City Address that I have done and the third in the history of Sedona. The original mayor, I don't know, there's some of you that have been here for quite some time. Sedona has been incorporated for 24 years. And the original mayor, June Cornelius, did a State of the City address, and I can understand why. I mean, what she was confronted with was pretty considerable. The sewering and the incorporation and all those things that were going on at that time. And I didn't know that she had done one when I came up with the idea to do the State of the City. I thought it would just be a great thing to do to inform the citizens here of what's going on once a year. And she called me up last year, about a couple days before I did the presentation, and she moved up to Washington State, I believe. And she told me, "Rob, I am so glad to hear that you're doing a State of the City. I did one when I was the mayor, and she said, I just was hoping that other mayors would pick up on that." So, June, this is for you. I want to do a couple housekeeping things. You all got a copy of the speech, and you may have seen a portion of it in the Red Rock News yesterday. And there are going to be a couple numbers that are different. And the reason that the numbers are different was because we had a timeline that we had to get the speech into the Red Rock News, and we hadn't done our final accounting. And so there's a couple numbers. It's not a significant change, but actually it's to the good in terms of our reserves, for example. Went from $41 million to 43 or almost $44 million. So anyway, I just, for the record, because there's always people out there that are checking up on me and making sure that I'm telling the truth and I'm accurate. And so for the record, there are some numbers that are different. I also want to tell you that the message tonight is not intended to be visionary nor inspirational, so if you came here for that, I'm going to disappoint you. The State of the City address this year will be talking about what has happened during a very difficult economic period during the last 4 years. And sometimes when things are tough, or even when they're good, we lose sight of what we're accomplishing, and we lose sight of the good things that we're doing. And so I just thought, as an exercise, that I would go back through the last 4 years and take a look at what's happened in Sedona and the accomplishments and the successes. And I have to tell you, it was a great exercise, and it's pretty extraordinary what we came up with. So anyway, if you walk away from here where you weren't inspired by a real go-get-em political speech, I apologize in advance. Also, I just want to say that during the presentation, I'd like to have a little bit of crowd involvement. And feel free, if you hear something that sounds good to you, that you appreciate, some applause wouldn't hurt. I do have one request, that you refrain from throwing tomatoes at me. This is my only suit. I'd like to introduce, before we get started, also a few people in the audience, some dignitaries, and all of you are important, obviously, but I'd just like to introduce, first of all, the City Council, starting with John Martinez. If you could stand, just let him stand. Mike Ward, Dan McElroy, Mark D'Annunzio, and Jessica Williamson. Barbara Luttrell couldn't be with us this evening. She has another obligation. I think I've got all of you that are here. Thank you for your service. I would have gladly changed places with any of them this evening. Also, former council members. Now, we had a response from John Bradshaw. Did he show up? I don't see him in the audience. Nick LaBarbera. Nick?
Yes.
Thank you for coming. Appreciate that. Former council member. Paul Tudnick. Paul? Any other former council members here?
Ernie.
Oh, Ernie, I'm sorry, Ernie, former vice mayor, Ernie Stroud. You know, you always take a risk when you recognize people because there's always somebody in the crowd that you weren't anticipating. I was going by the RSVPs. So thank you, Ernie. We also have one other council member here in the audience that I'd like to recognize. This is a council member from New York, and her name is Fran Adelson. And Fran, if you would rise and be recognized. Thanks for being here. Let's see, we have some commissioners here. Ron Budnick. Ron, are you here? There you are. Budget Oversight Commission, Larry Peck. Larry is not here yet. Marty Losoff, I saw Marty come in. Thanks for coming, Marty. Bob McIlvain. Bob. Chairperson of Parks and Rec, and Marty is on Planning and Zoning, the chairperson, or Planning and Zoning chairperson. Other commission people walk in, and Ernie is on the Sustainability Commission. And Sandy Moriarty. Sandy, would you guys rise and just introduce yourself?
And I'm half a council member. I was on the first.
And a form, right, on the first council, yeah.
Heather Mullis,
Heather?
the Arts and Culture Commission.
Okay.
Norris Peterson, Sustainability.
Norris?
Ann Jarmish, Historic Preservation Commission.
Thank you, Ann.
Christina Tucker, and I'm on housing.
Excellent. Thank you. I have to tell you, we have some extraordinary people that are volunteering for this city. I think we have over 200 people that volunteer on commissions, committees, the police department. You know, this city could not operate without the volunteers, and that's just a fact. I also want to point out we have the esteemed chairman, CEO, president, and chief honcho of the Chamber of Commerce, Jennifer Wesselhoff here. Jennifer. And we have Patrick Swice. Patrick, the Film Festival. And we have the chair of the budget or the community plan update committee. Wonderful to have you here. Thank you. Amazing job. So, did that cover everybody? Did I hurt anybody's feelings?
Vice Chair at Steering Committee, Rio.
Rio from the steering committee, budget steering committee. You guys were supposed to stand up and introduce yourselves. John, I'm sorry I didn't say your name. John Thompson, chairman of the community plan update. So thank you guys. Thank you all for being here. What's that? Holly. Holly Upright from Main Street. Holly, thanks for being here. Anybody else? I don't want you to walk away with a resentment that I didn't recognize. Okay. So, I'm going to get a drink of water. You mind?
Anything in it?
You wouldn't want to have something in there and me drinking that. The focus of the address this evening will be on the significant successes and accomplishments that have occurred in Sedona during the last 4 years. I want you to remember that. This is during the last 4 years. There are just a couple things that I'm going to be mentioning that were a little prior to that. But we're talking about a 4-year time span here, people, which was a really difficult time span. In order to set the stage for this presentation, I would like to take just a few moments to review some of the events that were occurring as I was seated for mayor in June of 2008. One of the largest capital projects in Sedona's history, the reconstruction of State Route 179, was just beginning in the Sedona city limits. You remember that? Wow. 2 months after I began my term, the economy fell off the cliff. This was the prelude to what was to become the most severe economic downturn since the Great Depression. The $10.8 million stormwater management and sewer project in the Chapel area began in December of 2009. In fiscal year 2009-2010, the state legislature began cutting state shared revenues to cities and towns. Also, 4 months after I was seated, the city manager resigned and left to go work at a different city. I don't think it was about me. Obviously, these weren't happy times. I mean, it's been tough, right? It's been tough for everybody. Residents and businesses alike were severely impacted by the construction, the traffic congestion, and the economic consequences of what is now called the Great Recession. At times, there seemed to be no light at the end of the tunnel. People lost their homes, their businesses, and their savings. It's not been easy, but we all did what we had to do. We tightened our belts, we pulled ourselves up by the bootstraps, and we collectively summoned the strength and courage to face our challenges. As I mentioned earlier, this State of the City address will focus on the successes and accomplishments of the last 4 years in spite of the challenges that we have faced. I think you will be impressed with the scope of the work that has been accomplished and the amazingly strong financial position that we have achieved. A portion of the City of Sedona vision statement reads, "To be a city that retains and enhances a strong and vital economy." Fiscal responsibility is the #1 priority for our City Council. In response to the economic downturn, beginning in the fall of 2008, City Council and staff began to develop a strategy to cut city expenditures by 30% over an 18-month time frame. In fiscal year 2008-2009, the city had to utilize approximately $800,000 of the general fund reserves to balance the fiscal year. As a result of the strategy that we developed and implemented, in fiscal year 2009, we accomplished a $1.6 million surplus in the general fund. Now you're getting it, yeah. It gets better. Fiscal year 2010-2011, we achieved a $1.2 million surplus, and in fiscal year 2011-2012, which just ended this June, it is currently projected and quite certain that the city has achieved another surplus in the amount of $580,000. I want to acknowledge staff and the last 2 city councils for the difficult and decisive actions that were taken, which resulted not only in a balanced budget, but also significant surpluses. Kudos. In addition to the expenditure reductions, staff and council have worked to create a revenue generation and payment strategy, which utilizes incremental increases in sewer fees over time for 2 purposes. First, we are taking a portion of the sales tax dollars that have historically been directed into the wastewater fund and are now redirecting them into the general fund. Second, we are setting aside a percentage of those dollars that are redirected into the general fund and earmarking them for our annual debt service. Within 5 years, it is estimated that we will have accumulated approximately $5.5 million to use toward paying off our debt obligations. The end result of this revenue generation and payment strategy is threefold. First, there will be more money in our general fund to provide for the health, safety, and welfare of our citizens. Second, the wastewater plant is moving toward being self-sustaining, with the burden of the operational costs being charged to those who utilize the system. And third, the financial plan we have created helps service our debt. Regarding our present debt, we owe a total principal balance of approximately $55 million between the general fund and the wastewater plant obligations. $55 million in debt. The great news is we have reserve fund balances of $43.7 million of cash or cash equivalent on hand. This includes $13 million in the general fund reserve, $11.4 million in the capital fund reserve, and $17.9 million in the wastewater fund reserve. Additionally, in 2011, the city refinanced our outstanding excise tax obligations, which resulted in a savings of $420,000 on $8.4 million of debt. 2 years ago, the City Council worked with staff to develop initiatives that would create a higher level of accountability and transparency in our government. In 2010, a Budget Oversight Commission was formed to oversee and make recommendations to the city budget process. We have also created a new grant and service contract funding policy in order to ensure a fair, equitable, and transparent process, and I might add non-political, in the annual distribution of over $1 million for charitable and social causes. The City of Sedona acknowledges that a strong and vibrant business community is vital to the economic well-being of Sedona. I think that clapping started with Jennifer. Approximately 60% of the revenue that is generated in the City of Sedona comes from sales and bed taxes. To get a sense of the health of our business community, the Chamber of Commerce created a trend analysis of membership during the last 3 years. In 2010, 70 members joined the Chamber and 44 members closed their doors. In 2011, 42 new businesses joined the Chamber and 23 closed their doors. Now here's the good news. To date, in 2012, 16 members have closed their doors, and the Chamber has increased their membership by 83 businesses. We have worked diligently with our business community to create opportunities for success and growth. During the last 4 years, the city has contributed an average of $246,000 per year for destination marketing and $278,000 per year for the operation of the visitor center. The city has also contributed an average of $68,000 per year for the Main Street program. Now, I said contribution, but really this is a partnership. This is about a partnership for that which sustains us. So thank you for the business community. Additional efforts have been made to help promote our city as a tourist destination. Our ordinances have been modified to allow outdoor dining and alcohol consumption and late night music in Uptown. Opportunities have been created to display banners on roadways that advertise events and promotions in Sedona. To create an attractive pedestrian-friendly environment in the business corridors, the city has contributed approximately $3 million for the uptown enhancement in 2006, and an additional $2.9 million to the State Route 179 reconstruction project in 2008. Now, I don't know about you, but I think State Route 179 reflects about what Sedona's about, don't you? The Verde Links transit system helps our businesses be competitive in attracting a workforce. The Verde Links provides affordable transportation for many people that make up our city workforce that live in other communities in the Verde Valley. Finally, the City of Sedona and the Chamber of Commerce have worked together to implement a more efficient tax collection system. This, along with an audit program, is helping to ensure a level playing field for tax accounting and collection. We sincerely appreciate the cooperation and assistance of the Chamber and the local businesses, the help that they have provided during these difficult times. Thank you. Now, I'd like to move on to review some of our capital and wastewater accomplishments during the last several years. Now, there's a lot of thought out there in the community that the city isn't focusing on the essential things that we should be focusing on. And I just want you to listen to these numbers in terms of the capital and wastewater projects that we've been working on. In the last 4 years, the city has installed 2,500 lineal feet of sidewalks. 9.5 miles of city-owned roads have been resurfaced. Handicapped ramps have been upgraded on city streets, and alternate bicycle routes have been created north of State Route 89A, the alternate route. I'm not talking about the new bicycle lanes in West Sedona. We have a couple folks here from the Verde Coalition, the Bicycle Coalition. We have a lot of good news on bicycling around here. The State Route 179 redevelopment was completed in 2010, resulting in undergrounding and reconstruction of major utilities, as well as providing landscaping, pedestrian lighting, and bicycle lanes. The State Route 89A project is nearing completion. Rubberized asphalt has now been overlaid on all state roads in the Sedona city limits. Handicapped ramps in the sidewalks have been installed along the entire West Sedona corridor. 5 miles of bicycle lanes and a new stoplight and pedestrian crosswalk at Adante have been constructed. And dark sky compliant lighting was installed from Airport Road to Dry Creek Road. The City of Sedona contributed a total of $53,431 to this $4.3 million project. The rest was paid by ADOT. Here's the big one, wastewater system. It's required major upgrades and modernization. Since 2007, the city has spent approximately $24.5 million on wastewater system improvements, $24.5 million. Some of the more significant expenditures include $7.5 million rebuilding major wastewater pump stations. $2.1 million has been spent on various improvements to the wastewater plant facility itself. $1.1 million has been spent to upgrade our effluent to an A+ quality. And a sewer system was installed in the chapel area at a cost of $9.2 million. That's in the last 4 years, well, since 2007. Stormwater management was listed as a top priority for City Council at our July 31st retreat. A total of $5,054,000 has been spent on stormwater management in just the last 4 years. This stuff isn't sexy, but it's necessary. And people's lives and their property are threatened if the city doesn't take care of it. So that is where the City Council focus is. Chapel area drainage system was completed at a cost of $1.6 million. Stormwater management construction is ongoing in the Harmony Windsong area and the AAA Industrial Park. A total of $2,998,000 has been spent to date on that one project. $440,296 has been spent on stormwater management rehabilitation, and $2.9 million in drainage projects is programmed for the current fiscal year of 2012-2013. Another portion of the City of Sedona vision statement reads, Sedona strives to be a city that offers equal opportunity for all and fosters a sense of community. We've had major successes in the community building and quality of life enhancement projects during the last 4 years. Recently, the city completed the development of the constructed wetlands at the wastewater plant. This project will not only help us dispose of our effluent, but it will also be utilized as a bird habitat and a great new city park. Many upgrades to our existing park amenities have been accomplished, and I just want to take a moment and think back about 4 years ago. Our parks were in rough shape. And at that point, that council at that time chose to make the city parks our priority. And I think they look terrific now. We have resurfaced the Sunset Park tennis courts and basketball courts at a cost of $238,000. In addition to the upgrades on all of the ball fields at Posse Grounds Park, an upgrade to the large multi-purpose field will be completed this year for an estimated cost of $212,000. The community swimming pool was completely reconstructed with a $100,000 contribution from the city. The lighting at the city ball fields was retrofitted with dark sky compliant lighting at a cost of $125,000. And a new BMX bicycle upgrade has just been completed at the Sedona Skate Park at a cost of $83,500. Recreation programming at all parks has dramatically increased. Special events at city parks has grown to 13 events per year. Some of the more popular events include the first annual 4th of July laser light show. 3,000 people attended. The celebration of spring and the pumpkin splash. And I just want to mention the pumpkin splash was, how many people have been to the pumpkin splash? I haven't, I have to admit. Okay. The Parks and Rec chairperson has been to that. The Pumpkin Splash won the 2012 Best Aquatics Program for a city with a population of less than 25,000 people through the Arizona Parks and Recreation Association. With the Parks and Rec folks, Rachel, who else is here? Stand up and be recognized for the great job you've been doing. Not only has there been significant growth in city-sponsored events, there are several new events that are sponsored by various community organizations. And I'm excited about new events here. I mean, these are not only community benefit, but they bring tourists into town and they generate revenue. A few examples of the new events that have come into the city of Sedona in the last 4 years include the Sedona Photo Fest, the Wine Festival this last weekend. I hear that was a huge success. I was out of town. The National Day of the Cowboy, the Hummingbird Festival, the Celebrate Your Spirit event, and the Sedona Marathon. The city has numerous partnerships with nonprofit organizations that provide critical services and quality of life enhancement for our citizens. As of August 1st, the city of Sedona entered into a contract with the YMCA to provide after-school child care services and teen and community program at the Sedona Teen Center, and I hear they're doing a terrific job. The Sedona Community Center was awarded a community development block grant in the amount of $150,000 to expand and improve their kitchen facilities. An average of $143,000 annually is contributed to the community center's Meals on Wheels program and their food program. The city is also utilizing development block grant funding to renovate low-income housing in Sedona. Over $470,000 has been awarded for this purpose in the last 4 years. The City of Sedona vision statement includes a declaration for Sedona to be animated as a city that is animated by the arts. There have been Are there any artists in the room? There have been significant advancements in the arts in recent years. One of the grandest achievements was the construction of the Sedona Performing Arts Center at Red Rock High School. This state-of-the-art facility offers unlimited opportunities for the advancing of performing arts in our community. The Sedona Film Festival continues to grow by leaps and bounds. The most recent jewel in the festival crown is the creation of the Mary Fisher Theater. I would like to give special recognition to Mary Fisher for her generosity, philanthropy, and just being a wonderful person in our city. Please stand up, Mary. You're awesome. You're more awesome. I also want to mention the dramatic increase in improvement of programming that is available at the Studio Live venue. Susie Shoemaker has done a remarkable job of making this a dynamic venue in our community. Thank you, Susie. Please stand. The display of outdoor art in Sedona has increased. For example, a bronze sculpture of a storytelling cowboy will be installed next month at the Jordan Historical Park. 2 art sculptures have been installed in the roundabouts, with the third to be installed in 2013. And 4 outdoor musical instruments were donated and installed in Uptown by the Free Notes program in March. That's just a few examples. There's a lot of them. I drive down 179 in particular and in Uptown, and there's art all over the place. And I think that it makes a statement here, don't you? That's amazing. The City of Sedona continues to support the Artist in the Classroom project and has contributed over $28,000 for the arts through the small grant programs this fiscal year. Finally, an exciting new concept is being developed which defines Sedona as a center for education of the arts and culture. This is a collaborative effort of over 20 representatives of the arts and education in our community. The vision of this group is to establish the Greater Sedona community as an internationally recognized learning center for arts and culture. This includes the Sedona School District, the Yavapai College, the Verde Valley School, and the Sedona Arts Center. And that is an amazing collaboration that has never happened before in the history of Sedona. Another portion of the City of Sedona vision statement reads, Sedona aims to be a city that lives up to the challenges of proper stewardship of one of Earth's great treasures. 2 years ago, a City Sustainability Commission was formed for the purpose of advising the City Council regarding policies, programs, regulations, and strategies for becoming a more environmentally conscious and sustainable community. Since that time, the Commission has been working on several projects or proposals, including Recycle and Save programs, a Christmas tree swap program, gray water and rainwater harvesting policies, green building and energy codes, and a comprehensive energy policy for our community. And I expect to see a number of these policies move forward in 2013. Other significant sustainability measures have been taken. The city appointed a volunteer bicycle coordinator in 2010 and was awarded a bronze level bicycle friendly designation in 2011. The Verde Links transit system was initiated in 2009 for the purpose of providing public transit for service in the city of Sedona, as well as linking other municipalities in the Verde Valley. Now listen to this. This has been a huge success with a 119% increase in ridership in just the last 2 years. This summer, the City Council approved $50,000 in grant funding for the purpose of encouraging businesses to bring their lighting into compliance with dark sky standards. The wastewater plant was recently retrofitted with an ultraviolet filtration system at a cost of approximately $1.1 million. This upgrades our effluent to an A+, which allows us the opportunity to use our effluent for a wide variety of community benefits in lieu of the wasteful practice of spraying 1,300,000 gallons of water on the desert every day. As an aside, I believe that a lot of the future of Sedona and the opportunities for Sedona lie 5 miles west of this city at the wastewater plant. I think there are incredible opportunities that exist out there, and we hope to move forward with creating some visioning on that within the next year. We're also hoping to develop a solar energy generation field at the wastewater plant in 2013. This project would save an estimated $1 million in energy cost over the next 20 years. Finally, this might be the last finally, I want to mention significant achievements in public outreach and transparency. It is a City Council priority to engage our citizens in our government and to provide transparency and accountability in all business that we conduct. As of July 12, 2011, the city began to televise and live stream City Council meetings. We also implemented Facebook and a social media policy. A Citizens Academy was formed in 2010. I heard somebody else clear their throat. Citizens Academy was established in 2010, and we have had 25 graduates. 18 mayor's lunches were held between 2009 and 2011, and 4 neighborhood listenings were held with over 115 attendees. Most notably, a Citizens Steering Committee for the Sedona Community Plan Update was formed on June 8, 2010. This committee has set a new standard in achieving public participation in the Community Plan Update. This plan is our citizens' vision for the future of our community. Imagine Sedona 2020 and beyond. It will arguably be the single most important document that the City Council will utilize in their future decision making. It is my sincere hope that the City Council will move forward with creating a strategic plan from the information that is gathered from the community plan. In the last 4 years, we have developed a 10-year capital plan. By utilizing the information in the community plan update, the city could establish a 10-year strategic plan based on the input and vision of our citizens. Our City Council government would truly be guided by the will of the people. Former President Ronald Reagan once remarked, "This country was founded and built by people with great dreams and the courage to take great risks." The community plan update demonstrates that the citizens of Sedona have great dreams for the future of our city. We have a lot to be proud of. Now, as the result of the community plan update, we have a vision to lead us forward. We must be prepared to move beyond the status quo and into the future with a strong vision and unity among all of us in our goals. Sedona is a city that is ripe with opportunities, and blessed with a world-class environment. We're privileged to work and live in a city that has the conviction to be good stewards of our environment. Ronald Reagan also said, "We are too great of a nation for small dreams." I believe that Sedona is a small city with great dreams and opportunities. I am dedicating this State of the City address to Christopher Lane, who tragically passed away on August 19th, 2012. Is his wife here?
Yes.
Could you please rise? Thank you for being here. Christopher was a treasure in our community. He was a force for good. Poetry was his passion. And through his poetry, he spoke for those that needed a voice and those causes that needed advocacy. He had asked me to read a poem of my choice at the season finale at the Poets' Corner on November 2nd. In his memory, I would like to read a poem by Wendell Berry, who is a noted political activist and author. When despair in the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives might be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting for their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world, and I am free. For you, Christopher. I want to thank the members of the staff, the City Council, and the numerous volunteers in the City of Sedona for your service to your community. I also want to thank my wife, Christine, for always having the light on when I come home from late night meetings, and that's usually how I'm talking by the time I get home. Christine, your smile and support has always been my inspiration. Thank you. Thank you all for attending the State of the City address. I wish you all abundant health, prosperity, and happiness during the next year. And good night, and thank you for being in my life.